Tonight, a convicted killer with nothing to lose is on the run.
Right now, a statewide manhunt is underway for Charles Smith. He walked right out of a transitional center in downtown Atlanta. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn is live outside that facility along Ponce. So, Cody, how did this even happen?
Well, you mentioned it. Smith literally walked out of this facility. Now, if he would have went to the right, we're less than a mile from 85. If he would have went left right in front of me, Ponce City Market, just a 15-minute walk. Ron mentioned he has nothing left to lose because Smith knows when he's caught, his life sentence kicks back in. A statewide bolo is out for Charles Edward Smith, convicted of murder in a 1992 homicide in Clayton County. Smith was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole in 1994. At the time, Smith was eligible for parole after 7 years, but denied.
But he would have been denied several times prior to being finally approved for parole. He received a favorable grant in March of 2021 and was released on parole. He was under parole supervision for 2 years.
Just recently, the Board of Pardons and Paroles was notified Smith violated the terms of his parole. Steve Hayes is the director of communications for the board.
Once the board was notified of the violations, it took quick action to have him detained.
Hayes says the board assessed the violations. They determined he could be placed here at this minimum security transitional center on Ponce.
And if he successfully completed that programming, then he could be returned to parole supervision in the community.
That wouldn't be the case.
He violated the terms and the criteria for placement in that facility. The board was notified of that. The board took, again, swift and decisive action and was revoking his parole.
Hayes says Smith knew this when he left the facility on Wednesday and knows what's next when he's caught.
He would resume in prison a life sentence. He would still be parole eligible. So the board at some point would have to reconsider.
We're still working to find out exactly what those violations were, but the most important thing right now is getting this convicted killer off the streets.
All right, Cody, thank you so much. Now, we do want to add some context here about Georgia's sentencing guidelines. This murder happened in 1992, but before 1995, most life sentence offenders like Smith only had to serve 7 years before becoming eligible for parole. Smith served 28 years before being granted parole, and today offenders serving life sentences who are eligible for parole must serve 30 years before being considered for release.